The thoughts, views, and comments expressed by the hosts, guests, and callers on Beyond the Headlines are not necessarily those of management, ownership, or production unit of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is a production of ILTV Studios and cannot be reproduced or represented in part or entirety without express written permission of the Verizon Media Group. Beyond the Headlines is the intellectual property of the Verizon Media Group. Copyright 2021.
Coming up tonight, it's the first day of the 5% VAT in grocery stores. So how did you enjoy shopping today? Also tonight, former Prime Minister Ingram taking aim at the judicial system, saying it moves too slowly and is unacceptable. We have more of what he has to say. And two PLP MPs reportedly pulling out of the 2026 general election race. Michael and North Eleuthera. Which one surprises you? We take a look at both constituencies and what this means for the governing party tonight. This is Beyond the Headlines. Good evening. I'm Shanique Miller. It's great to have you along this evening. The value-added tax reduction has officially taken effect, slashing the 10% tax to 5%, the lowest since the rate was introduced in 2015. Consumer affairs agents are already hitting the ground to ensure businesses are complying with the new price standard. Delana Roker starts off tonight's show with this look.
And down to 5% is now in full effect. The new policy, implemented today, applies to a wide range of food items, including fresh fruits and vegetables, baby food, lunch snacks, and frozen goods. Consumer affairs officials visited several stores to ensure the price cuts are being properly enforced. Head of Department of Consumer Affairs Rex Adderley says compliance is crucial to provide much-needed relief to households.
Well, when we first came in, there were some tags that still had the 10% VAT rate on it, and we pointed it out to the manager, and he was able to take those tags down, and he's making the adjustments right now. There's a process that we're going to go through, that when we check, if they're not up to par, we're going to do a follow-up visit to ensure that they actually made that change. If they don't, then we have a process that we go through to take it further legally.
The VAT drop is designed to provide immediate relief to consumers, but for some store owners, adjusting to the new change has been challenging. CEO of Phoenix Grocery, Valentino Gardner, says while the reduction is a welcome shift, there's still work to be done to fully align operations with the new policy.
For the past 3 weeks, we've been working from the back end on the system. We haven't really had a chance to do anything on the front end because, of course, you go from the 31st into the 1st. It means you got to change all the tags on the items, which we haven't even begun to do. But system-wide, we have, I would say, about 95% completed. So what's happening right now is, well, if there's something that we did not catch, we have persons who are on inventory who could come down and make the adjustments right away. But it's an ongoing process. I think we may not be completed with all of the items until probably at the end of the week or into next week, because there's a lot of items, thousands of items that have to change.
Consumer advocate Randy Roll also weighed in on the impact this adjustment could have on both vendors and shoppers.
It's an immediate financial impact on consumers, and it's a part of the broader strategy by the government to lower the cost of living. And so you're going to see over the next couple of months a number of different initiatives by the administration to lower the cost of living. So you have the cost competitive app that will be on stream. I think the government is in the final stages of negotiating that. And then you have a diversification initiative by the government, and that too will again add to helping to lower the costs of living for consumers.
And with ongoing oversight, officials say they're determined to hold stores accountable.
We're asking all the store owners to please have their invoices for extended items available for us to see. It's very crucial that we see those invoices so we can calculate the price, the new 5% VAT reduction on the prices.
Bringing savings for Bahamians, the new value-added tax reductions are now in place at 5%, expected to reduce the cost of living for consumers. Now, for businesses who are not in compliance as of yet, there is a 5-day grace period. I'm Delana Roker, Eyewitness News.
So a 5-day grace period. I wonder if Delano found any businesses not yet caught up to speed. And also, what are consumers saying? We are going to have a chat with Delano. Delano, good evening to you. Thank you very much for sticking behind. I know you went out to several businesses today. What are consumers saying? Like, just, what's their response?
Well, the overall response from consumers is really relief. COVID-19 brought a lot of concern with VAT being implemented, and 2025 makes 10 years since it was first introduced at 7.5%, then increased to 12% under the former Free National Movement government, and then facing a 10% decrease to 10%, and now again at 5%. So the journey with value-added tax has been very interesting over the years. So now everybody who I was able to speak to today was really just like, they're focused on their kids. They're focused on their wallet.
They're able to finally do just a little bit more.
A little bit more, which to a lot of Bahamians is a lot. So that little inch provided by this reduction was very important to them. One man in particular was just holding up several items, just saying, I could do a lot. He didn't want to be on camera, of course. But you could see the relief in his eyes.
So
okay.
And we the average person may take it for granted that, whatever, okay, I experience a few dollars savings. But you were saying for a certain demographic of people, they are extremely happy and welcome this.
Yes,
what stores did you go to today?
Well, I went to Budget, Buy for Less, John Shea, and Phoenix Supermarket, as you saw in the packet. So there was different persons speaking, obviously, all excited to be shopping, despite it being very early in the morning, might I add, 10 a.m. The persons were still there being the first.
They jump right in, huh?
Absolutely. They had to make sure things were on the shelves. So that conversation with those persons was very important for me to get the public opinion. Sometimes we talk to officials about these issues, such as, Senator Randy Roll, but it's really the Bahamian people who these initiatives are put in place for.
Yeah, and it's good to hear their response and that they're happy about it. Were there any businesses, we heard the business owner in that story that you just did, were there other businesses who perhaps were not caught up to speed or not where they should be with the 5% being reflected, or even some who tried to say, guess what, if you're only looking, I can keep this 10 right here? Absolutely. You're kidding.
When we stopped at John Shea today, I had spoken to a few officials because she was surveying the market prices right then. She was like, these are still at 10%. And I asked her, can you speak about that on camera? And she's like, I don't have the authority to do so. But she was basically telling me, she's like, they had the time to prepare. They still weren't prepared, but she was ensuring that they would reduce it to 5%. But to their credit, in the system, it was already 5%. But on the barcodes, it was still at the old 10%. Now, my question to that would have been, are you basically trying to hijink people once they come in? Because obviously the authorities are here, so you're playing by protocol. But I was wondering, I wonder if
when
once they leave.
And see that exactly.
No,
are they going to be policing? Is Senator Randy Roll and his team going to be paying close attention at every store, particularly those who've come up wanting today, to ensure that they quickly get into that they comply? That was my leading question to all the authorities I spoke to today. And when I spoke to him, he said that falls under the overview of the Department of Inland Revenue. So they definitely said there is a legal ramification attached to anybody who doesn't comply. And obviously, leading up, my follow-up question was saying, how much time do these people have to prepare? Obviously, they had enough time leading up to it. They did. That's why I heard you in your report say 5 days for everybody to get their everything in hand and get it as it should be according to the law. But they have had what, several weeks? Several weeks? Yes. More than a month. Ample time. And I understand, yes, there are thousands of items in a food store, but do you feel they could have been further along or perhaps even completed the entire process? I personally believe they could have been further along. There was enough ample time to properly have this in place. They knew April 1st was coming up. And even as the CEO mentioned, he said, yes, there are thousands of items we're trying to get up to protocol, and it's going to take a longer amount of time. But 5 days is a very small window. So what happens in 7 days, 10 days? Yeah. Are you going to still have that excuse? That was my question to him. But he said, we're trying our best to obviously make sure everything is up to code and getting everything to the 5%, but both on the products and in the system. Well, I think that you should revisit in 1 week's time. That's 7 days. So let's just see where they're at and what's going on. But, wonderful. It's good to hear that the consumers, who this is intended for, us, the consumers, regular Joe public, is embracing it, happy. I haven't been to the store today. Have you?
I have.
You have?
And I saw the products.
Yeah?
I saw the tuna leaving the shelves. I saw the people picking them up.
Yes. No, but
So-
did you shop?
Did I shop personally? No.
Yeah, I haven't either, and I don't know, but it's good. It's good that this is something we can look forward to and be happy for, because these prices started going up around 2020 or so, and it's just continued to escalate, and so it's good that there's this bit of relief.
And there's
at
the
the cash register.
mention too of I have to mention it's an ongoing rollout. Plans for diversification under Senator Barry Griffin and the Bahamas Trade Commission. So it is a reduction for today, but it's an overall plan for the Bahamian economy to really reduce and support the cost of living for persons hurting right now.
No, good news, and an excellent job. Of course, it's good that you spoke with the people who really, their voices matter most in this instance. That's the consumers, and that they all had just welcomed it, and so that's really awesome. Thank you again.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
Thank you, Delana. My pleasure, absolutely. This is Beyond the Headlines. When we come back, we are going to get some responses to today's VAT cut, the official implementation of it, and then we're going to hear about this lagging judicial system that we have in the Bahamas. Prime Minister Ingram is speaking up about it. Of course, he joins Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez, who before now also talked about the Bahamian judicial system. We have a lot more coming up for you right after the break. Stay close.
Cancer Treatment Centers of America is now City of Hope, creating one of the leading cancer care and research networks from coast to coast, providing more of what you need. More locations means more care closer to home. More specialists means more expertise. More research means more breakthroughs. More advancements means more treatment options. And more options means more hope. Call now to get more of the care you need.
At the Water and Sewage Corporation, safety and convenience are our top priorities. However, our meter readers face challenges that can make their job difficult. Locked gates to guard dogs sometimes leads to missed readings and estimated bills, which can be frustrating for you and us. That's why we're upgrading to digital meters. They bring safety, accuracy, and convenience to homes across the Bahamas. We can streamline data collection, reduce on-site visits, and provide more accurate bills with no more estimates. Digital meters also help detect leaks early, saving you from costly bills and reducing water waste. Soon, a user-friendly app will let you track your water usage, manage bills, and stay informed, all at your fingertips. Over the next year, we're rolling out digital meters nationwide, transforming how we serve you with a safer and cost-efficient water supply. To learn about our digital meters, visit our website or call us today. And don't forget to update your information at any of our locations.
What if I told you Wendy's has a new burger? With a flavor so secret, it's almost too delicious to handle. Well, now it's time to unlock that flavor. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger. We can't tell you everything, but we can tell you that it's packed with flavor, including our secret barbecue sauce. Try the new sweet and smoky barbecue cheeseburger today. Available for a limited time.
Island Luck Sportsbook is taking you to the NBA playoffs. That's right. Every $20 bet placed between February 24th and April 1st earns you an entry to win an all-expense-paid trip to an NBA playoff game. Imagine being in the stands, feeling the energy, and watching your favorite team battle for a championship. The more you bet, the more chances you have to win. So don't miss out. Place your bets now at Island Luck Sportsbook and get ready for the experience of a lifetime. Weekly drawings every Tuesday at 3 p.m. starting March 4th. Visit islandluck.com/sports for more details. Who's ready to fly off to the NBA playoffs?
Attention Bahama! Get ready to link up in Eleuthera. Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, Colette, Bahama Sin, and the Rock Sound Homecoming Committee present KB and Friends Boatman Show, April 18th and 19th in beautiful Rock Sound, Eleuthera at the Homecoming site. April 18th, experience the boatman himself, KB, Mama D, Colin McDonald, and the Falcons. April 19th, the vibes keep going with Ancient Man, Fan Sean, Terrero, Keisha, and the King of the South, Avi. With music by DJ Rap, Pop Style, DJ Lodge, and DJ Andy. Don't miss the Boatman Easter Weekend concert. Book your flights, rooms, and rentals now. For info, email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Telephone 558-3804. Don't miss the ultimate Boatman concert. See you in Eleuthera, April 18th and 19th.
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by the Legends of Rake and Scrape, May 10th at The Farm, Marshall Road.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. We're going to get right into some hot topics and get some opinions on how the panelists feel about the reduction in VAT, of course, and we have a lot to get to in this segment, so I'm going to bring the panelists in right now. Welcome to Beyond the Headlines, Michael Turnquest and Garth Rosborough. Gentlemen, good evening to both of you.
Good evening, good evening.
Good evening, Shanique. Good evening, Bahamas.
I want to ask you about your response to the reduction in VAT. First of all, guys, have you all been to the store today?
No, I haven't been to the food store.
I can't recall. It was a long day today. I've been just everywhere today. But no, I don't think I have.
Your thoughts, though, on this reduction. You heard Delano say that he spoke with, obviously, the authorities and business and store owners, grocery store owners, but more importantly, the consumers, and that they are just welcoming this opportunity to experience some savings at the checkout counter. Your thoughts about what the relief that this brings?
Well, I'd say any reduction in this day and time when it comes to the cost of living is going to be very welcomed. I'm very happy for those people who have been struggling through these hard financial times, especially the single mothers or single parents. We understand that at this particular time, like I said, any reduction, whether that's in your utility bills, that's in your food, that's in the cost of gas, and any which way that you can alleviate the burden on the Bahamian people this time, amazingly this time, and I stress this time, even though it might be somewhat late, it is still an excitable moment.
Yeah, Shanique, I mean, I have to agree. You know, I think any relief on the Bahamian, in the pockets, you know, is welcoming, you know, as relates to, you know, with the prices, inflation on terms of what just the prices on the shelves, you know, has gone up over the past year and a half, 2 years. So it's pretty, you know, it's pretty awesome to see that now Bahamians have some sigh of relief on some of the items that they can put into their basket and go at a checkout and say, okay, hey, I saved, you know, whether it be $1, 5 cents, whatever it may be. But at the end of the day, there's still a lot of work to be done, you know, where to get people where they can, say, live comfortably and still have $1 left in the bank at the end of the day to say, you know, in the event of an emergency, they can actually pay, you know, to help, whether it be better themselves or, you know, whether it be health or whatever other reason, you know. But, you know, there's still work to be done. But we're happy to see that, you know.
Absolutely, absolutely. Still a lot of work to be done to help really bring about an ease of living. The Bahamas is an extremely expensive destination and place to live. We know that. But gentlemen, something else that is an issue. Former Prime Minister Hubert Ingram lending his voice to the way the judicial system is operated here in the Bahamas. You will remember that it was St. Vincent and the Grenadines Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who also criticized the way this judicial system operates. I mean, it leaves much to be desired. Prime Minister Ingram says the slow delivery of justice is unacceptable. This is what he said today as we discuss this. His comments came after Canadian Justice Dale Fitzpatrick announced that he refuses to allow the trial into the high-profile investigation against former senior police officer Michael Johnson, prominent attorney Bjorn Ferguson, and former police officer D'Angelo Roll to experience extreme delays and go beyond 2026. Fitzpatrick explained that prolonged delays in our justice system will crash the system. You think it hasn't already? Prime Minister Ingram agreed with Fitzpatrick, who has only been in the country for some 3 months. Look at him with his just awesome views and like intention in this matter. Not only did Ingram agree with the judge's feelings on the possible failings of the judicial system, but he emphasized cases take too long to go to trial. Mr. Ingram also highlighted a number of cases that, in his view, went on too long, citing that an incident that took place in 2019 and the matter did not come to trial until 2025, some 6 years later. He also seemingly criticized the timeline of an ongoing trial involving Free National Movement parliamentarian Adrian Gibson. That has to be intentional because that trial has been going on since right after independence. I mean, it just feels that long. Mr. Ingram writing that presently there is a high-profile case in the courts that has been going on for almost 2 years. I mean, what happened? Is the man guilty or not? Ingram, and then the delays, and all that stuff. Ingram noted that the Office of the Public Defender needs more resources, and all of this contributes to delays, backlog, and to people losing confidence in the judicial system. Well, gentlemen, we see that. We see how it plays out in street justice, which is the common term. Your thoughts about what the Prime Minister had to say?
Shanique, this is one that, touches home for me because at the end of the day, I don't know if people are just sitting on their hands in terms of, not doing anything, but it's definitely, I totally agree. It's so much things we see going in the court system today. We saw a gentleman who was given bail for murder, I think it was $9,500. There's so many things as relates to not just only, setting a standard across the board in terms of what would it be in terms of, bail terms, in terms of what you're accused for, things of that sort. But, I was a part, I was a part of a witness of a part of a robbery many years ago, which took almost 4 years to come to trial. And then they brought, and I was actually summoned. I forgot, when I was summoned to the court, I said, I can't even remember. I remember to give down to the details in terms of what was said in my statement. And 4 years later, it's very hard for me to remember what I even told you guys as relates to what happened in terms of to the, dotting my I's and crossing my T's. Mm-hmm. But this is a system that we just continue to let things fester on. And then when it's actually time for the witnesses to come and testify, they completely not even in touch in terms of what would have taken place 5-6 years ago. And then you wonder why, a person's statements are changing because much things has happened between, yesterday. I could barely sometimes remember what happened yesterday, about 4 or 5 years ago. So I completely agree. It has to be, something has to be done.
Something has to be done, Garth. I mean, we've talked about this. We've seen what the street people do when they say, man, guess what? Hold on, you on bail and you did this and it's been this many years ago.
Mm-hmm. It amazes me, and all respect given to our former Prime Minister, Hubert Alexander Ingram, but we have to also recall that he was also the Prime Minister between 1992 up until the 2002 election. He was also in a place of influence, a place where he himself could have had even much more influence to have something of this particular measure corrected. For him to now speak at this time in his retirement years, I sometimes wonder if we only wait until the responsibility is no longer ours that we can now speak boldly, whereas while we are in power, while we are in the seat of authority, or while we are practicing law, was this not also necessary at that particular time? I've sat in this space with Ms. Shanique Miller and others. I've spoken to the fact that there are certain members of Parliament who I told Shanique Miller, up until this day, you'll not hear anything further about their case. They're still there awaiting their trial, still awaiting some type of judicial correction. I just don't understand it. I do know that our court system is overloaded. Mm-hmm. I myself have submitted paperwork to the courthouse. It has been lost. And, after all the work you've done, getting summons, running people down, cornering people, and then you come to find out that after all your stamp of approvals, they can't find the document. There's much work to be desired in our judicial system, and it seems as if it takes someone from an external country to mention to us to get something done. It's almost as if to say, we need to be embarrassed, in order to correct our own problems.
Or can we do it? Because you know, the Prime Minister of St. Vincent and the Grenadines made his comments, but this Canadian judge is here and he is saying, listen, hold up, what ain't gonna happen in my courtroom is this case dragging on to next year or beyond next year.
Well, have you ever heard another Bahamian judge speak such? It may have happened, but not to our recollection.
No.
And so once again, the external forces seem to have this influence on us to get things done, whereas when it comes to our own affairs, we continue to drag our feet and continue to operate as if we're a banana republic.
But, I think one thing you have to, and I agree with you in terms of, sometimes it takes external forces, but sometimes it takes our own. It also, not when I say take, it doesn't take our own, but sometimes our own frustrate external forces to the point where they throw their hands up and say, I tried, but it seems as though nothing I can do here. So,
and leave.
At the end of the day, judges can do only so much. At the end of the day, their resources in terms of, I forget what you call them, the persons around the court who basically assist in terms of where they'd be bringing files. I think the court system, I agree, it's just too, I call it analog. Everything is just, paper and pen. You got to bring this, and we see in the U.S. courts and other countries, everything is so digitized in terms of cases, things of that sort. And sometimes I think things get lost intentionally. It's just something to just move it, kick it down, kick the ball down the road for another year, 2 years. We see all the time.
Because truth be told, for real, like this is real. This almost like a little story that we're telling. Should the Adrian Gibson trial still be going on?
I think not. I mean, this is something that should have been completed with.
Within a few weeks.
Just going. I don't know.
It feels like, wait a minute, what? Well, he just jolted for a minute and say, wait a minute, yes, that trial is still going on. What's happening?
I think even the lawyers are so frustrated in this case. You have lawyers who want to slap the witnesses. It's just, to me, it's just absurd to see that, and it seems as though there is no end in sight.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I think we can do better, we have to look at our governance. Many of our politicians are lawyers. They have a legal mind. They have the ability to correct such measures. The real question is it profitable in correcting these measures? It almost seems to me as if there's much money to be made just from incorrect behavior and a pattern within our judicial system. Is that the real reason? Possibly.
Certainly a lot to kind of look into and question, quite frankly, because it's just sloppy justice at this point. When you think about what's happening, what's lingering, what's dragging and going in slow motion, what are we doing?
Or is the system milking? Is the system milking the clients?
Perhaps all of it.
Yeah.
All of it. Well, tonight the government is responding to a member of the Free National Movement's Torch Bearers Association after the young woman recently called out the government, Progressive Liberal Party, for alleged mistreatment and claims of victimization after she alleges she was left between a rock and a hard place. Linton Ritchie Jr. picks up the story from here.
The Ministry of Foreign Affairs is clearing the air after a video began circulating online featuring Selena Roll, the third vice president of the Free National Movement's Torch Bearers Youth Association, alleging she was mistreated by multiple government ministries. Roll claims that after taking a break from the public service and returning home, she was hit with a hefty bill, one she says caught her completely off guard.
After securing steady lead, I returned home only to find that I was slapped with a $20,000 debt. I was told that I had to repay $20,000 of my salary.
But in a press release issued Tuesday evening, government officials say that wasn't the case. In a strongly worded release, the ministry clarified that the $20,000 Roll was asked to repay was a sum, quote, to which she knew she was not entitled and had to be recovered as a result. Still, Roll says the matter is bigger than just a clerical error. She believes her political affiliation may have played a role, claiming others in similar situations were treated differently.
I worked for months on end without receiving pay. Meanwhile, political appointees received pay simply because of who they knew.
Officials rejected those claims, doubling down that, quote, this is not an unusual dispute among employees in the public service, and it has no political tinge. Roll, speaking at a recent F&M rally, described how the financial burden placed her in a difficult position and says she felt abandoned.
I was left without pay, unable to pay my bills, and abandoned by the officials who swore to protect me.
The ministry concluded its statement by explaining Roll proceeded on what was supposed to be a study leave without pay, but due to an error, she continued receiving her full salary. Now they say Roll has not agreed to the repayment terms and the funds remain outstanding. Linton Ritchie Jr., Eyewitness News.
Well, there you have it. This matter is something that really got attention, causing little debate around the water cooler. Was she treated wrongly, gentlemen? Was she taken advantage of, run amok, hoodwinked, bamboozled? Or it's like, Mom, what are you talking about? You received pay, you went on study leave. Now either go work in the system to pay that off or pay it up front. Your thoughts?
You know, Shanique, I mean, these type of cases, this is something that's been going on, and when I say going on, in terms of this type of work leave with, whether it be government agencies or quasi-government agencies, BTC and other companies have been doing this for years, where so either they pay for your studies, you come back and you work, you continue to get paid, and you work it off, whether it be you sign a 2-3 year contract. You have governments that have given grants, which they either, it's been free or they basically let you go on work leave. Either you don't get paid, when you get back, you continue to work, or you continue to get paid. You come back, you work for 3 years with the government, but they pay all your study leaves. Like I mean, I'm pretty sure she should know exactly what type of contract she signed. I don't know if she got paid or not. It seems as though the government is stating that she did get paid, and if she did get paid, then of course there's no issue. Whether it be back pay, at the end of the day, is whether you got paid or not. I think is the case here. But this is nothing new in terms of governments or even quasi-government has done this many times. It's just knowing the intricacies of what was actually done. Was she paid or was she not paid?
Well, she got a study leave, and that in itself is an accomplishment while in the civil service. The mere fact that you can go off study, upgrade yourself, I commend her even for wanting to do that. If it is stipulated that you understand that you are on study leave without pay and you're receiving payment while on study leave, then you should be the first one to go ahead and correct that. I do understand that while in school or while being educated, it is challenging. You're going to have financial needs, and any money that shows up, it feels like Christmas Day. But there's always in our system those people who are paying very careful attention, especially the people like yourselves who are involved politically. Of course, you drew the attention, and they're going to find out that, we paid you when we should not have paid you. The government is going to want that money back because the understanding is that you are not to be compensated. So here are your options. You can go ahead and get a loan or take money from your savings or work on a payment plan. I do understand this is how government works. And so to make this political and to make it seem as if one is being victimized, I think that is a step too far, not because you're an FNM. I'm saying this to you. I'm saying this also to the PLPs, the COIs, and everyone else, that whenever you're doing business, be very careful, read the dotted line, and make sure you follow through, because any error by government, I promise you, they're going to come back, correct the issue,
they will eventually
and
catch
they will
up to
collect.
It's checks and balances. I mean, it happens all the time with the bank. Some people go, money is mistakenly transferred their account, or money showed up in their account one night because of a clearing error, and they go and they withdraw the monies. But at the end of the day, after the checks and balances are done, you may see tomorrow, you see your account in a big negative and possibly court action, because more than likely you have no way of paying it back.
Even though it's their mistake, but you thought, like as you said, God, Christmas Day, and so the thing is, ma'am, we don't quite understand this, what you're saying. I know it got a lot of people's attention, as you saw. The clip went viral, and so we decided here on Beyond the Headlines, let's take a look at this. Let's hear varying views on it and see exactly what it is. I'll tell you, you bet right you're lucky to get an approved study leave, and even luckier to have a paid one. But understanding what those agreements are, whether you come back and work for a couple of years or you pay it back right up front. Many people have shafted the government, have gone away to school, gotten pay, scholarship, whatever it is, and just stayed, and so everybody trying to tighten purse strings now, as you will see anywhere around the world. And so pay your work.
Know what you're saying. At the end of the day, it's in black and white. So
yeah, absolutely. This is Beyond the Headlines. When we come back, what's happening in Michael? You remember the Member of Parliament there, Basil McIntosh, coming under heat recently with constituents saying, man, what is this man doing? Where is he? Well, today, according to a leading newspaper, he says he is not seeking re-election. We talk about that and more after this.
The internet isn't just for surfing. There's a sea of shoppers buying online, and you can connect with them on Tingsy. Tingsy is the SBDC's online storefront built for Bahamians. Take your business to the next level by selling to customers online, both at home and around the world. People want Bahamian things, and if you got things to sell, sell on Tingsy. Find out how you can connect with a sea of buyers by visiting tingsybahamas.com.
Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group presents the Legends of Rake and Spray. Get ready for the biggest names in Bahamian music live on stage. KB, Funky D, Chino D, D-Ma, Sweet Emily, Simeon Outen, Veronica Bishop, and more like the Singing Bishop. Mark your calendars for Saturday, May 10th at the Farm, Marshall Road. Gates open at 6 p.m. General admission 80, VIP 120. Tickets available at Missouri, Bookie Brand at the Beauty Shack, both locations. Skyboxes and Skypod. Call ESC Distributors at 394-0819. Or email keepthevibealive242@gmail.com. Saturday, May 10th. Come by boat and play and experience the legends of Rake and Scrape. Brought to you by Keep the Vibe Alive Music Group, ESC Distributors, Missouri, The Plug, The Beauty Shack, Bahamas Bookie Brand, and Caribbean Wines and Spirits.
Need a new car for your business? Well, EV Motors and the Bahamas Development Bank have some news for you.
At the Bahamas Development Bank, we are committed to promoting Bahamian businesses and entrepreneurs. With our green lending program, businesses are able to access up to 100% financing to purchase electric vehicles for commercial and fleet use. We are so excited to partner with EV Motors for this initiative to encourage and empower business owners to drive green.
If you haven't visited our dealership on Tony Williams Starling Highway as yet, we have a wide variety of brand new EVs from some of your favorite brands, like Toyota, BYD, and Mercedes-Benz. As the official distributor of Kerry Commercial Vehicles, we offer a selection of high-performance commercial EVs. Currently, you can purchase the Kerry Cargo Van and the Kerry Elephant Truck, and soon, flatbeds and box trucks for all your business needs.
To access up to 100% financing to purchase an EV for your business, you will need to provide us with a few documents: the business plan or executive summary, business license, historical financials, relevant KYC documents, and the vehicle and insurance quote.
With an interest rate of 6.75% and a repayment period of up to 8 years, you don't want to miss this fantastic opportunity.
To apply, visit our website today at bahamasdevelopmentbank.com or give us a call at 702-5700.
So you want a space, but not just any space. You need something with a little more potential. So how about 1,000 square feet of room to play with? Superb audio and video production capability, digital LED wall, full lighting grid, and about 124 seats to accommodate a full studio audience with so many other features. Make us your home for your next concert, conference, and so much more. Honestly, the possibilities are endless. Here at ILTV Studios, we'd love to bring your next event to life. So what do you say? Do you want our space?
If you enjoy watching Beyond the Headlines, take advantage of our exclusive offers with 4 15-minute interview segments at $1,200 and 20 30-second TV ads at $2,000. Contact 557-0258 or 557-0259 for more information. Go beyond with Beyond the Headlines.
This segment of Beyond the Headlines is brought to you by EV Motors. Drive the future with brand new 2024 electric vehicles. EV Motors, powering your journey.
Welcome back to Beyond the Headlines. Well, a leading newspaper is reporting today that Michael MP Basil McIntosh will not seek re-election, paving the way for what will more than likely be a hotly contested PLP runoff. This news is not surprising to anyone who has watched and seen the Michael constituents speak out about their representation this term. So, gentlemen, let's talk about how the constituents were left abandoned. Their words, that they feel that since basically after the election, they had to sort of fend for themselves. Let's just talk about what's happened in Michael, how that's played out, and then today's announcement, according to one of those dailies. Garth, your thoughts about what's being reported?
Well, Michael is the home of my mother. She's actually born in Betsy Bay, Maguana. She's a tailor. And, you know, if you know Maguana, I've seen you there, Shanique, in terms of the airport. You know what that airport looks like and the potential that airport actually has. It actually is one of the I think it's the second longest airstrip in the hemisphere that was actually created for the purpose of an emergency landing for the spaceship from NASA. An old Air Force landing strip, as it were. We look at Acklands and Crooked Island, and we look at Long Key, Inagua, and we have not heard of anything coming from that particular constituency that has been great. I do know that I was watching this particular show one night, and y'all were talking about Michael, and I heard the people in the chat group, they were like, well, who that man is? Who that is? We ain't never seen him before. He's an MP. And then, of course, the people in Maguana was asking, is this the man who's the representative? This is the first time that he showed up in Maguana. They've never seen him before. Many people didn't even know what he even looked like.
Wow.
And so I can't just criticize. I don't know what is going on with him. It's a medical reason. I don't know why he was absent. But I do know one thing. The mere fact that he is no longer contesting and wanting to be reelected, you're doing the country a great favor. We thank you for the time that you spent with us, but we don't need more members of parliament like you.
But, you know, this is where, you know, I think, you know, a lot of people at times say, you know, we need to have a recall system because it should be, it's unacceptable to represent people, or, you know, the Bahamians for a long period of time with no representation. I mean, a place like Michael is something that needs somebody agitating and making sure that people down, whether it be Long Key, and I know, you know, in campaigning it could be expensive, especially when you're dealing with 5 different areas and you have to get whether it be charters or this, that, and that. But you, as a member of parliament, should know what you were getting yourself into.
What you were signing
whether
for.
It became a burden on your pocket at the end of the day, or you felt as though if you felt as though your party abandoned you. At the end of the day, you are an adult. You know what you're getting yourself into. You should know, you should take safety measures, whether it be finding individuals to help sponsor or to take on certain responsibilities for that constituency. But at the end of the day, you should not be allowed to abandon a constituent or a whole constituency, a whole island or islands. You know, for 5 years, those people have had no representation for 5 years, and you now want to come and tell them. I mean, it seems as though the people don't even know who you are. You ask for people votes. I mean, like I said, I don't know what the reasons are, whether it be like my brother over here said, medical things of that sort. But we should look into some type of recall system, whereas though you should not be allowed to abandon people for that period of time, especially in an area in our Southern Islands that need all the representation they can get, whether it be investments, getting things done, and making sure your people are safe. Whether they're being, you know, they get representation. To me, it's unacceptable.
Well, yeah, I like what he's saying here, Shanique. And Michael, you can surely appreciate that the PLP has a lot of energy going into elections. Even as you're watching them now, they're beginning to just become a bit more boisterous, a bit more, you know, basically apparent, and they're in place. And they're saying to you, you know, we're the big, bad PLP. Once you are part of that surge, you feel as if you're invincible. So I could imagine going into the last election that Mr. McIntosh probably felt as if, you know what, I'm a part of a team. I'm a part of a family. I'm a part of this energy that is out there. And I'm going to do great things for Michael. But the minute you realize that you are not selected for a cabinet position or you're not put in a place where you can actually survive, you say, you know what? you know, you look, I feel like I'm forsaken, like I am the stepchild, like, you know, I'm the black sheep of the family.
Surely not being given a cabinet position is not what made representation.
Well, I tell you, he feels left out apparently because he did not show up. I mean, we sulk, we are men, we have feelings, and you know what? I could surely tell you, based on what I'm seeing from his performance, he did feel left out. He felt as if, you know what, I'm done with this crap, and he's out of here. He is turning in his resignation. We didn't ask for it. Mm-hmm. He's turning it in because he realizes, you know what, this ain't what I signed up for.
Well, that's quite interesting. Meanwhile, gentlemen, another member of parliament who many may say, wait a minute though, this one, his story is not quite like that. He actually worked. North Eleuthera MP Sylvanus Petty is not offering for re-election. A surprise, as many feel. He actually worked in his constituency and continues to work. I'll tell you this, in a letter dated December 1st to the leadership of the the Progressive Liberal Party, Sylvanus Petty, of course, talked about how grateful he was to be given the opportunity and that he's worked to make a difference. He says, this will always be my passion to see my community grow and develop. However, while the rewards has been bountiful amidst all the challenges, many of which will supersede past my term, I have decided not to pursue a re-election. As politicians, we understand the dynamics of progress and how there are as many lows as there will be highs. I consider it all progress. While I have been a committed member of Parliament for North Eleuthera, I felt a burden to focus on my family and other affairs that are and will require my diligent attention. After much reflection and prayerful consideration, I have decided that it is in the best interest of both myself and my family not to seek a nomination for the upcoming general election. Gentlemen, your thoughts on that? I mean, here is somebody, I don't understand that, because if you felt that way, why you entered a race to begin with in 2021? because here is somebody who many people feel as though, man, wait a minute, you won this seat for the PLP for the first time in decades. He was, according to many, working and continued to work and make an impact and sort of just to represent his constituency. And now he's saying, no, I'm not seeking re-election. Your thoughts about that, and what are you hearing?
Well, we know about the water and sewage debacle. I mean, I think that has a big part to play with it. Let's not just, play with the situation. It had to be embarrassing somewhat. I believe he is a noble gentleman. I believe he has great intentions. I've heard of the hard work that he's done on the island of North Eleuthera in that particular constituency. But in terms of the overall performance and the judgment on him, and when you look at your family and trying to be devoted to your wife and your children, as opposed to all of this political, as it were, challenges, I too may decide to opt out. I don't think it's actually worth the money. I don't think it's worth the scrutiny. And I myself, I think I side with him. I wouldn't seek another term either if I got caught in such a debacle. I wouldn't fool with it. It's just too much, unnecessary.
I mean, I agree with you, but I mean, at the end of the day, politicians or anyone seeking any type of public life, I think they should have a very, we're not new to politics, that being the Bahamas. We've been in this thing, but independent for some 50 years. And so you know what you're getting yourself into. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, I've had a chance to meet Mr. Petty, and he seems to be a very, like you said, very noble individual, very hardworking person, something who wants to see Eleuthera, evolve and grow. So I find it, and a lot of people have said, I've actually had a chance and, visited Eleuthera and heard, he's doing something, but the next representative, you can't see him. So, you have this, I guess the weighing of the scale, whereas though it's tipping one way, and and now you have the person who's actually working and able to actually you see something tangible being done is actually walking away from it. It makes you ask the question. I understand, you know what you're getting yourself into. I hope saying that your family, which I agree comes first, and your children comes first, is just not you not wanting to say what's really going on in terms of why you're leaving, because I think people really do like his representation. And
they had a protest just this weekend, and so does that have to do with a lot? I mean, I know that that he feels that what's up, the airport, he's lobbied and agitated all his term for the North Eleuthera Airport and for a number of things to be done and given attention, and he feels that they're lacking a lot. And so the residents spoke to this.
If you look at, Shanique, if you look at Harbor Island, it's this seems to be a person who is from the island. He knows what's going on. I mean, he's feeling the pain every day as well. I would be ashamed if I was representing and my government is in power, that I have to go and face my people every day, whereas though my lights are turning off, no water. You have a I call it an awesome place, whereas though you have a huge American airline jet flying into such a disgraceful, I don't know what to call it, type of, that little, whatever you call it, the little shop that they have there. But we are our efforts are other places. when Eleuthera is such a booming, thriving island who it seems to be.
Especially the north, yes.
Who seems to be, somebody said one time that Eleuthera used to be #1. And it seems as though it's on its way back there, but it seems as though the government is trying to stagnate Eleuthera in terms of where they could and what they could be. Because I cannot believe it. When I got off of that American Airlines flight leaving from Miami, I said, it can't be that this island has this little shack representing the Bahamas where we have tourists coming. And I understand at the end of the day, we want to keep it sometimes, authentic
to the island,
but
yes.
It has to be where as though you have people lines going out to the sun and you're trying to find shade
sun
for people.
Yes.
I don't know why you're so amazed. You ever been to Cat Island?
You ever been to Long Island?
Cat Island, you hit the brakes in the plane before the plane touched the ground. But you got a tent. You go under the tent, there's rain coming down, there's a little shack. Make one, it's a little shack. This is the country that we live in. And I feel sorry for people like Mr. Petty only because I understand when you really truly want to work hard and the system itself seems to be against you, and there are other people who you call your associates who also seem as if they are favored over you.
But
even in our news recently, I read an article today, $183 million, Shanique Miller,
I don't get it.
is for a road project
in
Grand Bahama.
And Grand Bahama roads. I mean, I'm not saying that, but you have a place like Eleuthera.
Well, I'm saying you can fix some things in Eleuthera for that kind of money. You can fix some things throughout the Bahamas for that kind of money.
Yeah, you're right.
Where are your priorities?
You got SpaceX making money in Exuma. Why we can't get some of that money since we are centralized government? All of these talks of increased tourist arrivals and so forth. Okay, you had a hotel in Grand Bahama, $63 million, right? So why you couldn't use some money to get that hotel fixed and provide jobs for people in Grand Bahama? The government seems as if it is favoring certain individuals.
Hold on, man. Are you saying, hold on now, are you saying
and leaving
favoritism?
other people out?
Wait. It can't be as petty as that.
It has to be.
No pun intended.
Shanique, it has to be.
Are you saying favoritism is at the root of this petty issue?
Always is. Always is. We look out for who we like best. We look out for who has our interests and our back. This is the way the world works. When I was a pastor, believe me, I was a pastor. But you know what I was told, Shanique Miller? Why are you working so hard to make the rest of us look so bad? And that's the honest to God truth before the throne of the Almighty. That's what they told me. You're working too hard. You're trying to make yourself look too good. And so this is what we have to contest. You're out there, you're sweeping the roads, and you make sure people have water, you're lifting buckets of water. What you doing? You're a member of parliament, we don't act that way. That's not our culture. Leave that bucket alone, leave that broom alone, But these people like Mr. Petty, you roll up your sleeves, you roll up your cuffs, you go to work hard for your people, and you get no encouragement from your comrades. That's the way it works. Last night I watched the program, Shanique Miller. Last night I read your comments. You know what these people said in that chat box? Oh, Shanique Miller and her guests, they beating up the F&M. Oh, they don't like the F&M. Oh, they're attacking the F&M. Oh, they like Menace. Oh, they don't like Mr. Pintard. Tonight, you know what they're probably saying about you? Oh, they beating up the PLP. Oh, they don't like the PLP. Oh, they don't like Brave Davis. You people need to wake up and realize that the only people who are losing in this particular situation, whether the MP is in or the MP is out, is you, the Bahamian people.
Bahamians. Well said, Garth. Couldn't have said it better. Michael, you have a comment?
I totally agree. It's just priority. Where will our priorities lie? You have a thriving island like Eleuthera, who has, the numbers in terms of tourism, the uptick in terms of the influx of tourism going to that island.
On every scale, it's just so much happening there.
But then we want to redirect funds to areas that had a decline. I understand at the end of the day you want to see it, but you need to, what is actually garnering the tourism product is what you need to continue to invest in before we lose it.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. Gentlemen, you both are spot on. Excellent perspectives and opinions on that matter there in Eleuthera. Of course, with the two PLP members of parliament who have already gone on record stating they will not offer themselves for re-election in the persons of Michael MP and also the North Eleuthera MP. Two different stories, in fact. People are saying, well, why is North Eleuthera saying that? And then in the case of Michael,
They might have some other, what they need to do is go find some other islands who might say they want to have a recall system in terms of replace, or some of them should put in their resignation as well.
Well, we said that you're looking probably at about 8 to 10 PLP MPs that need to be changed if the PLP are to contest this upcoming election.
Let me hear it.
You're not going to pick on your cousin first. You know, I got to do it just to be disgusted. Can I pick on your cousin, or you don't want to do that no more?
That's the time the show has ended.
But Shanique, you have, I mean, it's sad to see when you have other members of parliament out there that they should do the noble thing and put in their resignation and say, I will not seeking. But then you have an individual who is working, who puts in their resignation, and maybe it's because he's not getting the support that he needs.
I guarantee it.
And
you feel as though that's what it is.
And he's taking the high road and saying, my family comes first, and said, but
yeah, because that little excuse he wove in there,
it is he's not receiving, and he is ashamed to go to the people to say that I am a part of the governing party and I can't get the support to put in to bring our infrastructure the way it needs to be. Let's stop, we need to stop selling dreams as though when election time is gearing up, we start to feel as though we're doing something for the people. You need to start, when you go into power, start governing from day one and let people see tangible things happening, and let's not wait till 18 months out, we start ramping up this, giving up contracts to make people feel as though that something is being done for them. We have to stop playing with the Bahamian people and stop playing with the Bahamian people money, the taxpayers' money, and start actually investing in our islands, investing in our people to make them feel, motivate them to do something.
So they are part of the growth that's happening all around them. I absolutely agree. Excellent points, gentlemen, and thank you both very much for being always candid, always ready to give an opinion and call it as you see it. Thank you very much, Michael Tunkerest and Garth Rosborough. Thank you once again. Also at the top of tonight's show, thanks to my colleague Delano Roca for speaking on, of course, the decrease in VAT. Awesome. You guys go out there and enjoy that. I want to thank all of you for tuning in this evening. Thank you so much for tuning in. We certainly enjoyed having you along and look forward to seeing you right back here tomorrow evening. For the entire Beyond the Headlines team, I'm Shanique Miller. Make it a great evening, everyone.